Hi, welcome back. Hi, thank you for coming back. Thank you for coming back. Teresa. Tina. Hi, Tina. Hey, Kay. Thank you. Thank you. Hi, G. Janelle. Everybody's searching for a hero. Thank you. People need someone to look up to. Wish Janelle could sing right now. Hi, guys. Fred, is that you? Fred, is that you? When are you going to come to my house, Fred, so we can do some training? And will you please put your hair in that big fro again? It was fantastic. I love that. I can't sing. I wish I could sing. I would like to sing like Janelle Seward, by the way. If you're not following her, she's on this scope. Please follow her. That's okay, Fit and Faithful, because this is one of 3. You can watch the replay, and I'll be finishing up here and telling you where you can get the ebook. Hi, Janelle. People need someone to look up to. Can't find anyone to fulfill my dreams. Not like they give them a sense of pride. Which just makes me think of Coming to America. Hi, I'm so glad you stopped by. Hey, Shira, what are you doing? Hi, Shira Smith, beautiful Shira. Thank you, guys. I'm going to go ahead and get started with part 3. Go ahead and share this if you can, please. I know that kind of cutting them up in parts, sometimes that gets us more people, sometimes it gets us less. But I wanted to not give it all in one Periscope, because I did that on another call, and it's just like, it's a lot of information. It's a lot of explaining, because when you have an idea, and here's the basics of it, but it may not be quite like you think, you need to explain it in your own words, in your own terms, and what that means for you and what you're trying to explain to someone else. So it takes a little bit. It just takes a long time. Hey, Saving Big Time. I wonder what your real name is. And it just helps, you know what I mean, to take it out piece by piece. And plus, that's all we really need to do is take things in little bite-sized pieces, then we'll add them together, and it'll be absolutely fabulous later. Hi, Kristen. There she is, Kristen. Good. Well, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and get going. So if you have not seen the first and second Periscope on this, I'm basically talking about an ebook that came from a recent interview I did with Hannah Keeley on how do you get through trouble, or if you're in a hard time, or in a time of hardship or struggle or refining where you're just like nothing's working, or something big just happened and it wasn't high and it wasn't maybe the best of situations. You're like, how do I get through this and learn what I need to learn and not fail and not trip and not have everyone see what a big old baby I am as I'm laying on the ground. Excuse me, dogs, I'm doing a Periscope. As I'm laying on the ground kicking and screaming like my 2-year-old doesn't even do. And there's something about that, and there's a way that we can get through it. Now, I have a scripture reference for everything, but this ebook is basically 7 ways or 7 steps that you could maybe use. Just, you know, I'm offering it for free, just offering it, that will help you get through times of hardship and when you're like really mad or when unfair things happen. And it's just a way for you to focus on really what's going on and not go to that one end of the spectrum or the other where we freak the flip out and it's everyone else's fault and everyone else is to blame but us. And it's just a way that we pull it in, and it may not be our fault, but it's still happening to us, and we're still responsible on how we act and what we say and what we say about others, and how other people feel about us is a direct reflection of how we make them feel. And that has so much to do with how we act in times of struggle or strife, or put in whatever words you want. But I've gone through 7 tips that I think have been very helpful, and they're things I've used to get through some times, and I list the times in my second one that are, that's my anxiety speaking. Oh, you need to go back to the second one. We talked a little bit about anxiety. And I'm going to talk a little bit more at the end, but I want to go ahead and get to the meat, because if you have been on for all 3 of these, thank you. Thank you so much. And I do not want you to be like, all right, get to the point already. Ugh. Be brief and get in and get out, even though some people like to talk. I'm sure that's not me. I'm sure that's Kristen and Britt and Holly, you know. Anyway, point is, number 6. So we've gone through 5 so far. Here's number 6. Don't worry. I'm going to go over all of them in a minute. Don't worry. Don't worry. So there's technically 7, all right? So here's number 6. Now, this is, again, thinking with super mature mentality here, and that has nothing to do with age. There's plenty of old people that are just as dumb as they were 20 years ago because they chose not to grow. You can now choose. They chose not to grow. That's right. You can choose. So here's why number 6 it's going to require the big girl panties. Number 6, write down what you want to get out of this. Write down what you want to get out of this. So for instance, I keep talking about my wrist just because that's my most recent struggle. And even though that was a physical struggle and it was all on me, many times emotional struggles are way harder, and things with maybe your husband or your wife or your kids or work or which I guess everyone's future is a little bit unsure, but like a true unseen, I have no job and I have no way to make money, whatever, all kinds of things. But this, I was just like, first I was like, what the heck? And I was like, oh, actually, hey, this could be kind of fun. So as I mentioned last, Joy, you were killing me. Why are you sitting there right now? That was hysterical. I'm sorry. Joy just sent me, Joy Possum, by the way, follow her, the most hysterical picture ever. Or at least that's what it looked like here. I hope it wasn't like your glamour shot. And I just said it looked weird. Anyway, point is, I was on the plane flying home. And I don't know if you've ever been on the plane, but things swell on the plane. Snakes on the plane, things swell. And if you're already broken and you're on hydrocodone and you're in this little wrap thing, and then you're in between two people, and by the way, we're just there's normal sized people, but everybody's touching me. You're touching my shoulders, it hurts. And that one girl's foot keeps kicking me, and I can't reach down in my purse and get my little mini iPad so I can take my hydrocodone and watch a movie and hopefully have a snack or something. And I was just like, ugh. So I had my phone, and I first was writing down some of the good stuff that maybe could come. And then I got more intentional, and I was like, okay, what do I want to come out of this that would be great or awesome or cool or fun or funny? What do I want? So number 6, and this 6 may be all you need, because I have 7 total, but 6 may be all you need, because when I talk about 7, you may be like, nope, nope, nope. And other people may be like, yes, 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 that's what I need, number 7. But here's where number 6 kind of brings it all down, because 1 through 6 so far has been basically between you, your emotions, and God. Nobody else. You, your emotions, and God. Thought process, everything. Write down what you want to get out of it. So here's a scripture I have to connect with this. 1 Thessalonians 5:18. Just give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you. And what that means by this is God's will is that for you to give thanks in all situations, that's his will. So is breaking my wrist one of those situations? Yes. Is you getting pregnant and you weren't prepared to get pregnant? Yes. 1 Thessalonians 5:18. You lose your job. Is that one of those situations? Because it says in all situations, in all circumstances, give thanks. Is that all circumstances or situation? It is. So anything, even the worst of the worst. If you give thanks and we seek him, things change. If we're just worried about what's happening around us, and I know that's so hard to do, and that's why I said this requires the big girl panties, but there's a reason. And yes, all things up, and just, I'm going to give thanks, God. And I'm thanking, this is why I'm thanking you. Not because I'm in pain or because this bad thing happened, but I'm thanking you because you know more than me. You allowed this to happen for a reason, and I trust you more than I trust myself. I trust God more than I trust my own desires, my own wants. I know more. No, I don't. Nobody knows more than God. So I trust him more than anything. And even in the worst of times, when my dad died at an early age, died at 58, y'all, that's so early. That's so early. And I was mad. And I mean, my dad did not take care of himself, which could be a reason I'm kind of so bent on this fitness thing that we do. He smoked, said he had his first cigarette at 9, which, by the way, if you grew up in the 40s, it's not uncommon. And that was an amazing, amazing man, but he started smoking early and he could never kick it. I mean, he tried so many times to quit the habit. He loved to eat, which, I'm pretty sure that's genetic. But so much that he would not work out. So much that, he didn't like it, he was uncomfortable, and he would kind of eat whatever he wanted when he wanted. Point is, while I wish we could have got that to mirror his heart for Christ and his love for other people, it just sort of never did. But my point is, I remember Andrew was 2 years old, who's now 13, watching. He was always a big dude. Now, not just strong, but kind of a little hefty. But I remember watching his body involuntary breathe. Does anybody know what that looks like? Have you ever seen someone's body when the involuntary muscles start to take over? I don't even know how to explain it to you. It's awful. And my big, huge, strong dad was like, his body was like kind of, you know, shaking and I'm trying to get too graphic. My dad was always like chubby, you know, and had a big belly. And just within a few days in the hospital, he had lost so much weight. And his belly was breathing for him. Like you could tell he wasn't, it was the involuntary muscles keeping him alive. And I had went down when he had a stroke and we were like, and he was speaking and everything then. Then pretty soon they're like, well, he can't eat because he's not swallowing right. And then pretty soon he kind of started just not being very responsive. And even though he was never on life support, point is, I went home because we thought, I need to go home. And plus I was teaching like a bazillion classes a week at that point. So I was like, I need to go home, make some phone calls. That was before our lovely swap board, if anyone's a 24-hour fitness girl. And I had to take care of business and then I came back. So I missed maybe 2 days. And I came back and I was so mad at myself for leaving. I should have never left. Because the man that I left that first day and the man I came back to was not the same man. At 58, my husband's about to be 50. Are you flipping kidding me? Whew. Point in saying all that was even watching him, I was mad. I remember my mom kept grabbing me to hug her and I was like, you know, I love you, Mom, but it's not about you, it's about my dad. You know, and I just remember laying on my dad and bawling and just going, God, yeah, this sucks. God, this sucks. But this thing kept rolling in my head and I just kept thinking, but God, you know more. And I hate this. I'm so sad. My dad was so awesome. Oh my gosh, he was so funny. Point is, I just remember even then going, God, you know more. I hate this. I don't want him to leave, but I don't want him to be here if he can't even speak or eat. And if this is what your plan is, God, then fine. But his body was so tapped out. Type 2 diabetes, congestive heart failure. You know, he had fluid on his heart. He had the beginning signs of emphysema. I mean, like, come on. If you smoke that many years, you eat ice cream and crackers and drink sweet tea all day long. I mean, whatever. I'm not bashing my dad for that. I'm just saying his body could not take that anymore. But I do remember hugging him, laying my body on him as he's in that bed, feeling, this is rough, but feeling it. And I just remember like, God, I hate this. And I don't want him to go, but you know more. You know more. I don't know why that just came out. I'm so glad because that's really hard to think like that. And I'm not saying I said that, I thought that way because, I'm so immature. I thought that just because I know one thing to be true. God knows more than me. And if he does something, I'm not going to fight that. I mean, I can tell him I'm mad and I don't get it and I'm pissed. But at the same time, he knows more than me. He created me. He created this world. And so, point is, that was really hard. And dang it, I had a good reason for going there. Just saying that was really, really tough. And I had to figure out what could be good. And that was really hard because I was like, what in the world could be good? I don't know. I still miss him, by the way. So back to number 6. When you're in a struggle, what could be good that comes out of it? My hope at that time was that my mom maybe would step into a different level of who my mom was. My dad just kind of always took care of everything. My mom just, okay. And so I thought, well, maybe that could be good for her. I mean, I was reaching, y'all. I was reaching. I'm cool. Thank you so much for being sweet. I was reaching. But I just kept saying, well, maybe this will be good for the people around him. Maybe that's what they need to see. I don't know. It was just time. And one lady said something to me. I'm sorry. It's the last thing I'll say. It was at the funeral. Like my dad was standing room only. My dad rode Harleys and my mom and like all these Harley guys came. I don't know if you've ever been to a funeral where there's Harleys. But like they kind of lead the procession or they follow it and there's like this loud noise and there's like 80 of them and it was like so cool. Anyway, so a lady said to me, you really can't be mad, Mindy. And I'm like, I'm not mad, I'm sad. She goes, because God picks flowers first. I had never heard that before and I know that that's not in the Bible. But it filled my heart that day. And I was just like, oh shoot. So point is, that will help you at some point. Let it help you. But I had to somehow give thanks. And my only thanks to God at that point that I could even muster was, thank you for letting that man be my dad. Thank you. Like, that's it. That's all I could think of. So that's how I said thanks. And then to write down what I could get out of it. I wasn't mature enough to do that at the time. But if you can fast forward to my broken wrist, which of course doesn't even compare to that story, I kept thinking, this is another avenue for me to work. Maybe this will, I honestly was like, maybe my fitness will get taken up a whole nother level because I've never had to work this hard. Or, you know, this is another way for me to witness to people. And I kept thinking, maybe this will be new people for our business at the therapy center. You know, I was like, just, I don't know, I was reaching, I was grabbing at straws. And plus I was on hydrocodone. But the point is, what do you want to get out of it? Think of like those of you that have lost a job or you're searching for a job right now. Lee used to work for DynCorp. I don't know if you know what DynCorp is. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry about your aunt, by the way. And he would go to Dubai and Abu Dhabi, and that scared the living you know what out of me because I just wanted him to come back. And it was a military branch that helped some of the United Arab Emirates over there in Abu Dhabi and Dubai. And I'm pregnant with Garrett at the time. And I'm like, you know, like what the heck? So he would fly over there, you know, and then come back. And I was just like, what the heck could be good about this? And I couldn't really figure it out. And then I remember one day he called me. He said, well, guess what? I'm like, what? He goes, you're going to like this. I was like, what? He goes, I lost my job today. And I am not kidding, but I was like, yes, thank you, God. Because number one, who wants their husband when you're pregnant to go over, you know, seas if you don't have to? I mean, he's not in the military. It's not like our life. This was a job he took. So I was like, So seriously, Marines, I'm sorry, that's different because then I would have known that was part of life. This just was a job. But he lost his job, and I was so flippin' happy. My main reason was because I wanted to see him every day, which, duh, that's normal. But it was one of those things that, like, everyone's like, oh, my gosh, are you freaking out? Oh, my gosh, that's so much money you're not going to get. Oh, my gosh. And I'm like, I'm so not freaking out. I am not afraid to be poor. I've been poor plenty of times. I just really wanted him to come home. You know what I mean? I know that's hard for my military girls and boys, but you know what I mean. And so we actually had a huge list of why that was good. And it was a really cool job, and he liked it a lot. So I kind of felt bad. But hence, here we are now. So that's 6. And let me finish with 7, but there's a huge disclaimer on 7. Disclaimer! Only if you have this person that I'm going to explain. I'm going to describe a human being. And only if you have a person like this, do I believe that you should take step 7. 1 through 6 are great. And 1 through 6 are you, yourself, and God. You, me, my emotions, my decisions, my thoughts, and God. Which, by the way, is the best place for you to be. However, if you have the next person I'm going to describe, then I'm going to say go to 7. But if you don't do it. Number 7 is, so sorry, I got a hair caught. Seek counsel of a trusted person or mentor or an advisor. But hold on. Let me tell you who doesn't fit that category. If you have to say to anyone, you know, I need to talk to you, but you can't tell anyone. That's not a trusted friend. If you have to say to someone, I really need for you to keep this secret, or don't tell so-and-so, or whatever, okay, that's not the person. If this is a person that you know you could call and gripe with about any random thing at any moment, that's not the person. You don't want someone that's going to just let, like, y'all just both go, oh yeah, well, you know, I think, well, that, you're right, because blah, blah. You don't want that person. You don't want to give someone your heart and speak to them if you can't trust them, if they aren't living a life that you want to live. Just because they're your friend or a relative or something, don't call them and talk to them about what's going on and what you need help or prayer with unless they can fully be trusted. They're living the life that, as far as you know, that you want to live as a parent, as a married person, as a Christian, as someone who fully does not take shortcuts in life, who doesn't take shortcuts and think that no one's going to see. Like, that's not the person. Hence, here's a great example. When I know quality, and by the way, there's so few. When I was having trouble with my first husband and I was pretty sure that it was going to end, I remember talking to a few people about, like, that were divorced. I was like, well, you know, how did you know? And what did you go through? And why did you get divorced? And what brought it to that? And then, like, I talked to, like, my second girl, and I was like, why am I seeking the counsel of someone who's divorced when that's not what I want to do unless I have to? And don't get me wrong, I'm divorced, okay? So I'm not bagging on that. Here's my thought process was, I was still married at that point. Why wouldn't I be seeking the counsel of a married couple that have been married 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years? Why wasn't I talking to them on how I could possibly try to rebuild this marriage or possibly try? And they just like hit me. What am I doing? You know what I mean? Why am I talking to a person that's been in debt for 40 years about getting out of debt? I need to talk to someone who's gotten out of debt. You know what I mean? So you've got to think about that. And venting to someone else isn't worth it. If that information somehow is going to come back around, if that information is somehow going to get twisted, split up, and somehow pushed back in your face later, which has happened to me many times, as I'm sure it's happened to you. So if number 7, you don't have someone that's trusted, a sister, someone that's got you, someone that almost texts you or prays for you before you ask, that's someone you can probably trust. And someone that doesn't need to have one up on someone else so they can tell someone else, well, I know you like them, but you know what I know about them. That's not the person. All right, I have a reference for this. So number 7, seek the counsel of a trusted person, but only if you have one. You can totally leave off 7 if you need to. Matthew 18:20 basically says, when 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I am there with them. If you read a little bit more before and after that scripture, it talks about when people are praying in like kind of unison, not like the same words, but we all want the same things and we all pray. That is what it's talking about. When we're together praying for the same thing, our hearts are united on that, that's what that means. And so if you've got someone like that, awesome. Y'all, you got us. I mean, I feel that, we get people emailing us prayer requests, and Britt prays for them. I pray for them. It is in my little war room. I have a few trusted people that I can totally say, hey, here's what's going on. And I never have to go, okay, so listen, something's going on. Please don't tell anyone. Like, what the heck? Shouldn't even have to say it. And by the way, if that comes out of your mouth, remember me and think, oh, maybe this isn't the right one. All right, cool. So let's go back over them. Number 1. Hold on one second. Hi. All right. So number 1, to recap. You know, when I wrote these, and I'm like, what is number 1? By the way, this is the cover of the ebook. I love it. Thank you, Britt, so much. 7 ways of facing struggle well, or to face struggle well. All right. Numero 1. Take a deep breath and hold up a second. Take a deep breath and hold on a second. I know, Britt's fantastic. Number 1, take a deep breath. And that is so that we don't start freaking out and throwing things and punching people and saying mean things and texting out and stuff. I know it's so hard. Number 1, take a deep breath, hold up a second. Number 2, remember that every struggle happens for a reason. And by the way, if you're not willing to embrace that and believe it, then everything's just going to like be bad. And all you're going to see is the bad and the trouble and the struggle and just this. Everything bad happens to me, poor me, poor me, poor me, which is a selfish mindset, and no one is going to grow and be the person they're intended to be by being selfish. Number 2, remember that every struggle happens for a reason. Number 3, begin with prayer. Okay, and this is where I said in the first one, or the second one, excuse me, when you're so mad and you're freaking out, you don't want to pray. Like, I don't want to pray. But there's nothing else that would be more powerful for you to do than just to drop to your knees or sit on fast and just go, God, I'm freaking out. God, I'm coming to you because I need you. I need you. I need you. I'm coming first to you. Help me, please. Like, you can say whatever words you have. Say it. And go there first. It doesn't have to be in a specific way. Go there first. And you can be completely honest. I'm so mad right now. I'm so pissed. Whatever. Tell him. Number 4, write down any and everything good that could maybe come of this. This is tough because you're mad and you're freaking out. And you're like, oh. And when we're freaking out, we do really weird things unless we calm down. Something good could come of this because there's a reason. And I just prayed. Oh. But if you've done those 3 steps, listen to me. Number 4 is not that bad. I on the other parents group, I said I was in between those people, my arms swelling and like reducing and swelling, and me like just wanting water and to lay down in bed so badly. And I was like, okay, in my phone, because I can't write. I would put my little voice memo thing or text to speech. I would go, I could take my fitness up a notch. I'm like drawing, grabbing at straws here. And then I get thinking of, I can connect with people who broke bones. This could be funny. Like I was like just anything. But what it does, it gets your mind off of the trouble and what's maybe hurting or what's unfair or what you don't like. And it puts it on, well, what else can I look for? Because the bottom line is you will see what you look for. And that's true in life. That's true in people. You will see what you look for. So this is starting to get your mind away from poor me, this is terrible, this is sad, to, well, that does suck, but what could come out of it? You know, what could come out of it? Tough, but you could do it. Number 5, realize that after you go through this, you're going to have a whole nother topic and thing to connect with people, to minister to other people. You're going to have a whole nother way to help someone else. Or you're going to have a whole nother way to connect with people. And if you're like, I don't want to connect with anyone. Well, here's the problem. You're a human. You were designed to love. You were made from love. And even though you don't have to be a people person or an outgoing person, but you were designed to connect with other people somehow, some way. And it has to be other than a phone. As in, click, 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 click. It's got to be another way. So there will be an opportunity for you to share this with someone and encourage someone else. And I'm just here to tell you, if you've ever done that to someone else, hey, I know this is rough. I've been through something very similar. You're going to be okay. It's going to suck for a while, but it's going to be better. I'm sorry if the word thug offends you. It just keeps coming out. So realize that somehow, some way, there's going to be a whole other avenue for you to connect and minister to people. 6, write down what you want to get out of it. So the other thing was, well, maybe this, maybe this. The other thing, number 6, for writing down, you're writing specifically, I want to get this out of it. I want to get this out of it. It, again, helps refocus you on what you're looking for. And actually, if you write down what you want to get from it, you're going to start seeing evidence of that to where you can kind of build a case on it. You can start going, oh, well, this is what I want to get out of it. And look, boom, I'm seeing it. There it is. Then number 7, last and only if you have this, seek the counsel of someone who's truly trusted, that gets it, and that you're not going to have to explain everything from 5th grade on to tell them what's going on. Someone who already knows you, gets you, knows your heart, and it's like, okay, I get it. All right, let's go. And praise. And by the way, you know you can pray on a phone with someone? You can pray on Periscope. You can pray anything. Anywhere. Just pray. All right, that's it. So you want to know where to get this? Anybody want to know where to get this? Anybody want to know? Oh, I pray on voice memos all the time. If you would like to get this ebook, you need to go to Hope in Struggle 7, the number. So Hope in Struggle 7. What's going to happen is you're going to put your email address in, and then the ebook will be sent to you. Be patient with us, though. It's taking a little bit longer than we're wanting to, so it'll be a couple hours or so. Please just be patient. I will get it to you. And if for some reason it doesn't ever come to you, do it again. Check your junk, please. Your junk or your trash. But go to Hope in Struggle 7 as in the number, and I will send this to you immediately. All right, that's it. Yeah, be patient. Was one of these be patient? How about if you don't get your ebook immediately, check number 1. Take a deep breath and hold up a minute. Anybody have any questions or thoughts before I let you go? Thank you, by the way, for those of you that have been on all 3. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks, Holly. Thank you, Kay. You're beautiful, Patricia. I knew what you meant, Holly. That was funny. Thank you guys for being on. I appreciate it so much. My eyes are a little blind. It's pretty bright. You're welcome, Hardcore. Thank you very, very much. Anyone else have any questions or anything before I go? Before we go? Okay. Got it. You know my husband has cancer too. Holly, was this the one we had prayed for before? I think it was before. Thank you guys. Please share even that, website address. Okay, no, it wasn't. All right. Because if people are willing at least to embrace the idea of maybe doing this, then steps are going to be there for people to actually, we can grow more rather than just keep thinking that we live this terrible, poor me, I never win anything life. I never win anything. I've heard that so many times. I never win anything. Well, what do you want to win? The raffle? The lotto? Because pretty much no one ever wins a lotto, let's be honest. Waco. Oh, Baylor's awesome. Oh, adoption. Yay! My sister has adopted 2 children. One from Nigeria, one from Ethiopia. Lee was adopted, my husband. My brother-in-law, Ronnie, was adopted. Lee was adopted for $250, by the way. We've seen the cash check. Things have slightly changed there. Many of my coaches have adopted children. I love it. I flipping love it. All right, guys, I don't want to keep you on. Thank you so much. Please come back. Share this with someone, and I hope that you have a great day and that this really, really helps. Thank you so much. Oh, totally. It's totally changed. Totally changed. Now, my sister's adoptions in Nigeria and Ethiopia, she went on mission trips twice. And the first mission trip, we were like, and the second mission trip, we're like, don't you go again, because you're going to come home with some babies. And, of course, we did, and he's amazing. We flipping love him. Thank you guys so much. All right. See ya.